All right. You ready to start this?
Let's do
Ready?
it.
Ready? All
Ready?
right. All right. Well, wait for you. You know,
I got
you're cooking.
I got my blood. I know it's right.
And
It's
my
air
air
fried.
conditioner, just before my air conditioner is kind of loud, but you're not picking up on it, right? It's
No,
not.
no.
Okay. Okay. Good.
Are you responsible to saying at 78?
I set it at 77 because Mamdani can go fuck himself. That's 1 degree for freedom.
All right. Well, 1, 2, 3. Happy Independence Day, Snow.
Happy Fourth.
250 years. It was a good run.
It was fun while it lasted.
And we have a very special guest. I didn't think we'd get this guy on before because we really disrespected him in Vegas because we took us to IHOP and we did get pancakes.
Especially on a holiday.
Yeah.
I mean,
Welcome, J-L Cauvin.
It's great to be back. Hello, Snow. Hello, Michael.
Yes.
hello,
Yeah,
friend.
International House of Pancakes. And was I the only one of the four of us who got pancakes?
Excuse me, I got crepes. I don't That's like a thinner pancake. I
No,
mean,
that's like saying waffles are pancakes with bad skin. It's not true.
waffles are beefed up pancakes. They're like pancakes on steroids.
They're taking testosterone replacement therapy.
Yes. Yes, they're like
Um,
RFK Jr.
more syrup, more raccoon penis. Um, that is a project for my second half of the year, by the way. I will be ordering some skinny ties. I am not sadly in shape to go shirtless for my RFK Jr. podcast, but I will be launching a companion RFK Jr. podcast uh, on my YouTube channel at some point this year.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was the only one who honored the culture and custom of IHOP.
International House of Pancakes, though. I'm gonna continue to argue because I think that crepes are
French
internationally a
pancakes.
pancake. I
You think
think
they're French pancakes?
yes, aren't they? Or
I,
Swedish or something.
I do not believe they are. I believe in France they still have les pancakes. So it's yeah, it's
I'm going to
I thought
France to find out.
it's very Kingman of you, I think, to go to IHOP and then not respect the culture and sort of say, no, we're doing it our way. Whereas I am of the idea that I respect all cultures, and if it's a house of pancakes, then pancakes are what I will order.
We are recording this on July 4th. And we were supposed to do it last week. And I want to just tell you that you're taking this Trump impression way too seriously because, we're supposed to do it last week and then you mysteriously disappear for the weekend without a trace and then you come back. So can we see the back of your hand? You know,
Yeah, I was in
good
Walter
cover.
Reed Hospital for an unexpected visit. Um,
Way too
but
seriously.
yeah, no, I'm method. I am method. I have eaten like garbage ever since he became president. I
McDonald's every day.
yeah, Dunkin' Donuts if I can't get to a McDonald's just to at least get roughly the same nutritional value. Um, but yeah, it's what was I going to say about July 4th? I don't know. It'll come to me, but it's so strange this Independence Day, but it's sad because and I'm not the 100th person or millionth person to say this, but it is weird because part of me wants to be like, hey, we're alive. Forget like being uber patriot guy. It's cool to be like, hey, this is like a milestone. We're around for the 250th anniversary of the country. That's cool. And yet it just doesn't feel, it feels so ruined. Like it feels like we're at the Police Academy 7 of our country's history, whereas like the first Police Academy was a pretty funny comedy. Number 2 is pretty solid. By the time we get to 7, it's like, are we even watching these? Do we even care what's happening? These are awful. Like Trump is the Police Academy 7 of presidents.
He is.
Oh.
He is indeed. Did they? Quick question. Did they really have Police Academy 7?
I know there were at least 6, and I think a 7th was
geez.
made. Yeah.
Oh,
The only one who made it.
I looked at like 3. I think I saw the 3rd one, and that was about
I
it.
think it was 4 or 5.
Citizens on Patrol was, I believe, 3. That might have been
Yeah.
4. 5 was Miami Beach. That was when Steve Gutenberg was like, I'm out, guys. Even I can't keep doing these.
When you lose Gutenberg, I mean,
wasn't Michael Winslow the only one who made it all the way through?
He might have been. I opened for him once.
Really?
And
the guy that makes the noises?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did love him.
I thought it was going to be the worst experience just because, like, as a snobby young comedian, you're like, oh, God, this guy from the 80s who's still trying to make a buck. And it was awesome. Like, he really is like a one-of-one talent. That's the thing. Like, what he can do is just like, it's him. So it was actually pretty cool. He gave me this intro. They gave me an intro for him because I was emceeing the shows at a casino. And he goes, oh, that's too long. Let me shorten it for you and just give you the basics. What he gave me was legitimately 3 times longer than what they handed me. And literally they're playing the music for me to come on stage. And he is backstage typing with 2 fingers on a computer, finishing his much longer intro to print out and read. And I was like, you are not helping this situation at all, Mr. Winslow. But he was still just such a unique, funny act. He must have been really crushing it in the 80s, I think. When those movies were out, he was probably getting absolute top dollar for comedy clubs and theaters. So that's my very loose connection to the Police Academy saga.
What year did you start stand-up comedy?
June 2nd, 2003.
Yeah.
So it's been a long time.
So we just had an anniversary. No, yeah, about a month ago.
What's happening? Is she getting she looks like an air traffic controller right now.
I know, my headset's all screwed up.
Uh-oh.
That's okay.
Broke her
I
headset.
bet it wouldn't be screwed up for Brent Terhune. That's all I'm going to say. I bet
It would
everything
not.
would be
It would not.
everything would be
No.
working perfectly for him, or John Fugelsang, who I have started to call Jon Ossoff. Tell me if you like this one. Young John Fugelsang with CrossFit.
That fits. He's a good-looking guy.
Yeah, both of them are good looking.
He's like Fugelsang 2.0. I feel like that's just my take. It's a compliment to both men.
Yeah.
Just to be fair, Brett Terhune sometimes doesn't answer my emails, so,
Well,
so
you know what? He's probably a guy who goes to IHOP and orders French toast. So, there's people who respect traditions and respect, the community, and there are rogue actors who don't.
Or they like variety. Did you ever think about that?
When I go to a diner, I order a dozen different things. But when I enter when I enter that international zone of pancakes, it's a pancake order. Sorry.
Okay, maybe I can get some respect back here. I don't ever go to a Mexican restaurant and order a hamburger.
No, that's just because it's not on the menu. You probably would if it was on the menu.
They're on every menu. Like they're always on the menu for white people. They're always there.
I will have the grilled chicken, please.
I think J-L has an endorsement deal with iHop.
I know.
I wish I did. I should start I can make my Instagram open to brand deals. I don't know who in God's name would want to do a brand deal with me, but if IHOP came calling, I'd be like, absolutely.
Oh, you just do the Trump. These are the greatest pancakes ever.
These are pancakes. They're flat. They used to call them flapjacks. Nobody ever knew this, and some people called them hotcakes, but we call them pancakes. And this is globalist. We don't do globalist pancakes, like George Soros, but we do international pancakes. So
That'd be like USA pancakes,
Patriot cakes.
freedom
yeah,
flags.
Mhm.
it's yeah. But I think my main beef is that I love the pancakes at IHOP so much that I felt insulted for the restaurant, that I was with a table of, you know, just whatever. Give me some eggs, give me some French toast, give me some crepes. Ugh.
Uh, I wish though,
What guts?
because while we were sitting there, you did the little Trump impression while we were sitting there, and this lady behind you, you didn't see her. She had the Trump 2028 shirt on. Fuck your feelings. I just wish she had overheard what you were saying.
I don't I don't know. I'm torn because it's like he has dominated everything since he came on the scene. But yeah, today is just such a weird it's such a weird day. I'm not like normally the most rah type person, but I do sometimes when I see like historical milestones, like somebody my age or roughly our age. I graduated college, and 4 months later, 9/11 happened. And it's been like a steady stream of like terrible news since I sort of became an adult. And so it's like when I was 7, the Challenger blew up. I'm sure there were good things, but it seems like there have been a steady stream of like really bad, huge things to happen. Um, and the 250th, while being just kind of like a national party, not like some major thing like a man landing on the moon or something, but it does feel sad that it could have just been a cool thing, like a
Right.
cool thing to be alive for, to say, hey, that's a little marker of my life that I got to be here for this thing that'll be in the history books. And it just feels like such a joke with him presiding over it. It, like, by definition, makes it less worth celebrating, because how can you celebrate fully a country that is regressing, that's moved back in terms of its values, its decency, its intelligence? Like, it's almost like we're 250, but we're really like ethically and intellectually, we're more at our 150th anniversary. So
I'm old enough to remember. I mean, I was really young. Bicentennial, and I do remember this. The feeling was it was the whole country. Even though we had a Republican president, there was no like this. Well, hey, we're the real patriots over here.
right.
And it was right after Nixon. I mean, it was right after something terrible.
Right? Yes, because Ford was still president.
Yeah. Yeah. I was only one, so I don't remember any of it.
I was seaman at the time, but I was very tall.
Yeah, I mean, you drive around this place, and I went to the Walmart this morning, and everybody's dressed up like head to toe, red, white, and blue. I know I'm wearing a Captain America shirt, but it was ridiculous, like obscenely ridiculous, how people were dressed this morning right here.
They were like that yesterday too. They already started on the 3rd because a lot of them had the day off.
Right.
So they already had like there was like a house that had a flag that covered their whole front of their house. It was that big, like the whole entire garage. They're ready to go.
I mean, I think, and you made a social media post about this morning, that it isn't necessarily unpatriotic to want better of the country.
Right.
Like I don't hate the United States. I love the concept of the United States of America. And big melting pot, but it just seems like half the country, or a little under half, maybe 35% actually, just wants it to be like it was then, where it's, hey, it's only freedom if you're, just as white people,
Yeah.
way it
And
feels.
it's like I said, I think I just resent the fact that I don't feel as good about it as I would. And I think that is the fault of Trump and his minions, but it's also, you know, somebody wrote to me, and I did a video on this that I posted a few hours ago, but somebody said to me, oh, lighten up, buttercup, and just enjoy the fourth like everyone else. And I thought to myself, I was like, okay, that's not the worst. He's being condescending, but there's a lot worse engagement you can get on social media than that. But I kept thinking of like, not just myself, but where you're sort of like, okay, my father was Haitian, and he came to this country, for a job and for more safety, started a family, lived here for, um, you know, over 40 years, 50. Did he make it 50 years? Over 50 years in this country. And to see, just as an example of how Trump talks about Haitians and how he is like so focused on stripping them of protection and demonizing them as people, and other groups that he has said things that are, even less sort of factually based. And you sort of say, at some point, the people who claim to love America and they say it's a great country, it's a land of opportunity. Okay, agreed. But at what point can the president, not a comedian, this isn't cancel culture, how many times can a president speak against people who make up the country till you go, okay, well, if the president hates me and is making my life miserable and insulting where I come from and who I am and what I'm trying to do, why should I not look at the country and go, I don't have to be like super patriotic and happy about it? Like, if the leader of the country spends his time shitting on me and shitting on my parents or shitting on the country where my family is from and saying I don't belong here and saying I poison the blood of the country and these insane, disgusting things, this idea of like, shut up and just enjoy the day, stop complaining. I go, it's not that I'm sitting here going, I feel so attacked. I feel so, but how many times can the president do this against so many people that make up the country that you just go, I don't know, why should I be thrilled about this anniversary? Because we've hit such a low point and we have a president who, just like he doesn't respect, when people say respect the office, I go, I don't have to respect the office if the person in the office doesn't respect the office. And why should people feel super patriotic or super proud in a moment when the person chosen to lead the country has nothing but contempt and disgusting things to say about people that make up the country, and it's that disconnect of like, well, he's not going after me and he hugs the flag and he plays God Bless America, so therefore he's a patriot, like all these superficial signs of patriotism, when if you can't just listen, it's not even about putting yourself in the shoes of another person. If you can't just listen to the words that your president says about people, and you still question why some people would be angry or not feel as patriotic or not feel as connected to the country as you do, you're a fucking idiot. You're like willfully shutting your ears to the plain language that, so it's and yet when Hillary Clinton says half of the voters for Trump are deplorable, well, you heard that and made that the biggest statement of the year. So like, don't tell me you can't hear it when someone insults someone and makes them feel terrible. So I just, I can't even understand at this point that people can't make that connection, that like, this isn't just about, oh, I'm not proud of my country because I don't like Republicans. It's like, no, I'm not proud right now of the country because it elected a piece of shit who calls my, paternal ancestry poisoning the blood of the country and a shithole. And like, he says that about lots of peoples and lots of countries and lots of communities. And it's like, he's not just some guy, he's the president, and the country picked a president who has contempt for a lot of its people. And how can you not take that message and have it affect the way you think and feel about the country?
Yeah, I mean,
Because they go along with it too. I
Yeah.
mean, they that's why they're never going to say that it's wrong or anything, because they love it. I mean, we have to live around these people.
Yeah.
They love this shit. They believe it.
Right.
They
It's gross.
And don't get me wrong. And I'm sorry to just one last thing. Don't get me wrong. I'm not pretending like there aren't millions of sort of irredeemable Trump people. Like let God and Jesus sort out their souls. But as far as citizens and people on earth, they're just unrepentant racists and bad people and greedy or whatever their value system is. These are not people that can be reached. I'm just talking about maybe, the 5 to 10 million of Trump voters, maybe, who it's like, can you not see that what this man says has consequences for how people act and how people feel about the country? Like, he can't be the most powerful man on earth, and then his words and actions mean nothing when it suits you, when you want to say like, he just talks like, he talks tough, he talks a little rough. When the president is calling your people poisoning the blood of the soil of the country, like, that's not, how can, you can't have it both ways, where he's the most powerful man and you got to respect him, but also what he says, when it doesn't matter.
Right. I think because even the small percentage of the Trump folks who are like waking up, so to speak, they're not here in Kingman, but they still, the only reason that they're waking up to it is because they're now being affected by the economic part of it. So they still are fine with all the other shit. Or they were fine with it, or I mean.
Oh, one of the most depressing things to me was just how much changed when gas prices went up.
Yeah.
I was like, wait a second.
Right.
All this shit. And even a war, even if the war had not affected gas prices, I don't think there'd be as many people going, no, this isn't right. I said no wars. Like, the idea that gas prices was the red line after everything was sort of disheartening, because it means that no hearts have been changed, no values have been changed. It's just like, this is affecting me in a very consequential day-to-day way. Like, when I have to fill up my gas tank, I'm very mad. When you take away rights from gay or trans people, I don't care. When you demonize Black women, call them all low IQ, when you steal billions of dollars, when you, like, none of it mattered, but my gas tank is, so it just means that, like you said, so it's not changing any, like, nobody's mind or heart seems to be changing. It's just like, oh, I have to pay more for my car. No, now I have to move. Now I'm done with Trump, or now I'm angry at Trump.
Yeah, they don't care.
But if it came down to it in 2028, if he did run again, they would still vote for him.
They need to learn about the United States. I hate, this is like the laziest excuse to make, but they are fucking stupid. They're stupid. They don't know how the country's supposed to work. They don't know what the country stands for. They don't even know what the fucking Statue of Liberty stands for. They don't get any of that. They don't know the meaning behind those things.
Right. Yeah, they think, I've said this before, but it's, you either believe America is a sort of set of ideas and principles where it doesn't matter what you look like, who your parents are, you have an opportunity, and you can be an American and you can chase the American dream. And they believe that when it's like white people struggling, they believe that the American dream is not being fulfilled, whether it's opioid addiction or closing factories. And I'm not dismissing any of that stuff, but whether it's crack or joblessness or anything else, when it affects other communities that don't look like them, they don't view them as American. Like they may know and say, yes, they're American, but they're not. I'm a real American. Like I'm a white guy who worked in a factory. I'm a real American. These other people, yes, they're American, kind of in a way, different from me, but I'm kind of tier one American. And I think if you put people up to a lie detector test, that's kind of how a lot of people I think would feel about being American, that it's a land of opportunity and ideals that need to be fulfilled for me. But when I think of an American, I actually only think of really people who look like me or have the similar experience as me. That's why it was so easy to otherize Barack Obama. He had this weird name, and his father was from Africa. And that he's a Christian? No, it doesn't matter if he goes to a church. It's like you literally got his pastor canceled and yet still didn't believe he went to church. How do those two things work? He had a pastor at a church who was too radical, but he was also a Muslim secretly attending mosques and madrasas. And like they could compute those two things could exist in their minds because he was so different and so unlike what they thought of when they thought of an American and when they thought of a president. He broke the mold from their sort of mindset that they could look at him and be like, I just don't get it. So I think he's probably not born here and probably a secret Muslim, because otherwise I have to accept that, oh, right, people with weird names and people with mixed parents and people who've got family from other countries, not just Europe, are also American. That's right. They can be. And that just doesn't instinctively hit. Even though I know if I read a book, that's what an American is, I don't feel that an American is that. I feel like an American is me and my family and the people we go to school with and church with and work in the factory with. Those are Americans. These other sort of new Americans from all sorts of different places just are, I don't feel it. And therefore, it's very easy for someone to tell me that they're not real Americans and that my life is the real America.
Yeah, and they literally call them invaders. Like that's their terminology for them. And I'm like, but their families came to this country for the same reasons that your family did,
Right.
of opportunity, that whole thing. But yeah, I mean, they're just not going to see it because they just can't get past the skin color thing. I don't, I hate to say, I hate to always just say that, because they get so defiant too when you say that too to them. But
because they
it's
know
the
that being
truth.
called a racist, even racists, most racists don't want to be called a racist because they know that's bad. So they just sort of say, I mean, Donald Trump is as racist as they come. And he makes a point of saying, I'm the least racist person you've ever seen. Because it's like they don't want to be branded a racist. They just want to live a racist lifestyle.
I mean, look at Mamdani. You're going through a heat wave. What's the temperature there today?
It's like over 100, or it hit over 100 at least today.
I mean, we're used to
It's
it.
not even 100 here. Wait a second, because I looked this up earlier. I don't think it. Yeah,
We had one of
we're
these heat
sitting at
domes.
94.
What kind of upside down weather is this?
And ours is humid too. We got like 100 plus and humid, because I think we had like a heat dome or something. That's why we've had like a 4-day heat wave that's like hardcore. Like we've broken some records. Yeah, and it's Mamdani wants to I don't know, bring socialism and communism and destroy us all, because he wants the temperature a little higher on our air conditioning.
I mean,
He doesn't want to blow the grid.
No, he was going.
Right.
He was going by the Department of Energy's guidelines to set it at 78. And when he said it, of course, all the MAGA in Staten Island are gonna be like, "No, I'll show you. I'm gonna put it to 62," and then the fucking power goes.
And it did, right? It blew in Staten Island,
Right.
but Staten Island is like, it isn't it. To quote Tony Hinchcliffe, isn't Staten Island the real floating island of garbage? I mean, that's what I've heard about it. I don't know.
It's like the one pocket. It's like the one MAGA pocket in New York City.
Right.
So good for them. They'll teach Mamdani a lesson by losing their power.
Well, but when it went out, they were blaming the infrastructure. It's Mamdani's fault. He didn't fix this in 5 months.
Wait a second. I have another. Because Phoenix mayor is not obviously the mayor of Kingman. Does Staten Island have their own mayor, or are they technically considered New York City?
Oh,
too?
no, they're part of New York City.
Okay.
So
I didn't know
Mamdani
if
is
they
their
were
mayor.
like.
Yeah, it's kind of like,
So he is their mayor, also.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but he is the mayor of all boroughs.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
Bronx, Brooklyn, Queens, Manhattan, and Staten Island. That's your 5 parts of New York City.
Okay.
Yeah, it's it's just so I just can't believe we're at this late stage of America, and this guy still has this like devoted following who can see no wrong in what he does. And they'll say things like the infrastructure, the grid, and it's like, yes, all things Democrats have either passed laws on or have tried to upgrade, and Republicans stand in the way. And then you have Trump canceling wind and solar projects and funding for and subsidies for wind and solar. Like everything he does is like designed to exacerbate the problems that both right and left complain about, but the right is unwilling to stop sucking at the teat of Trump's man boob. It's pathetic.
And you would think that the whole, like, the shit with the Epstein files, I mean, that's why I can't, that's my biggest reason where I'm like, I don't even want to speak to any of them anymore. Honestly,
Yeah.
I'm like, if you guys are at the point where you are fucking defending pedophilia, but only in that instance, like, they will sit there and still talk shit about other, like, low life pedophiles. And I'm like, who the fuck did you vote for? Who did
Yeah.
you vote for? Like, I don't want to hear you complaining about, like, yeah, we all know, like, pedophiles are bad, but I don't want to hear it coming from your mouth when you voted for one 3 fucking times.
Yeah. Yeah, it's I don't know. I think they've buried that story in their minds. Like that story no longer exists. And Trump, to his credit, his like kind of animal instinct, he just kept fighting it and fighting it and fighting it. And now his supporters don't care. And I heard on like a month ago on the New York Times podcast, the guy from Kentucky, Thomas Massey, who just lost his primary, he was one of the only Republicans basically being like, I'm against the Iran war and I want the Epstein files released. And that was enough. That was enough for him to lose his seat. And at a town hall, they had audio from a town hall of his, and a person was actually saying Donald Trump must have a good reason to be keeping the Epstein files under wraps. And instead of saying, right, that's the obvious answer is yes, you're almost there, sir. He definitely has a great reason to hide them. But this guy was sidestepping that and going, maybe he's using it as leverage in a negotiation, or he's gathering evidence to go after all these people, so he doesn't want it released yet. Like that's how far they're willing to go to excuse him, because these are people who can't. I don't think they could emotionally or intellectually cope with it. If video came out of Trump raping teen girls, okay, just worst of the worst, let's just say that comes out, the only thing they will say is deep fake. It's fake. It's AI. Because they cannot accept that they've been so duped, and they have empowered such an awful human being after all the work they've done, compromising themselves and making themselves his willing accomplices in shitting on America and tearing so much down. They cannot accept that, like, the truth. They are incapable now of dealing with the truth, I think, because half of them will want to jump off bridges if they actually believe or mean anything of what they say, and maybe they don't. But imagine you think Donald Trump, I voted for Donald Trump because he's going to make our economy great. He's going to go after pedophile rings, and he's going to make America great again. And then after 12 years of the Trump experience, our country is in the shitter. He's raping kids, and our economy stinks. You know, like, or our job market stinks, or AI's taken over everything. How do you deal with that when you thought you were picking a savior and all you did was give power to the worst of us? Yeah. So they cannot deal with it. They cannot, even if there's any goodness left in some of these people, they cannot deal with the fact of what they've done. So facts, they will, until their dying breath, I think, just evade the truth. They'll say it's AI. They'll say it's deep state. They'll say it's a deep fake, whatever they have to do to avoid kind of dealing with the actual truth.
What do you think the best way to combat that is because you see these Democratic socialists all over winning their primaries, but then, you know, it's going to just embolden the other side to think like, oh, well, you just want communism, you know, the right wants communism.
Well, I think when I look at somebody like Mamdani, who I don't agree on everything with, and I think some of his political tactics have been gross in terms of how he handled at least one of the primaries in New York, like gave a guy his word he wasn't going to back a challenger, went back on his word and backed a woman named Chevalier in the Bronx, who is the one candidate to me that stands out as like a really bad choice. Like, she is the Fox News parody that they're always trying to sell. Right. She's actually that. She is we should abolish prisons. No one should be deported. She said, fuck Kamala Harris in 2024 when she was running, and said that Joe Biden is a rapist. This is somebody on the extreme of the left. I don't think it's helpful locally or nationally to elect somebody like that and to endorse someone like that over a sort of fairly progressive, experienced person in terms of that primary. Overall, I'm honestly, there is a smugness sometimes to the sort of progressive wing, and I always will listen to a progressive who votes blue. I have less tolerance for I'm going to sit this one out because you didn't pick my candidate, so I'm going to sit out. I don't like to talk to those people. I don't like to listen to those people, but there are plenty of progressives who hold their nose, so to speak, and vote for a candidate they don't want, because they understand what the other side is. But there is an element to the Democrat,
even though, you know, we didn't want to, we did.
Right. There is an element to some of the Democratic Socialist kind of group that is I'm sitting this one out unless you pick my candidate, and I don't want. But there are plenty that, you know, they fight their fight, and if they lose, they vote for the Democrat later. But I'm all for whatever works in whatever district, and I'm all for moving leftward, but I don't want to say I'm unique, but I am somebody who is all for progressive policies, but I'm also all for pragmatic Democrats as well. Like, if you're not a Medicare for all, you know, stay home and not vote for Kamala person, like that ain't me. But I think there are a lot of places in this country, and if a more progressive person can get in, great. But if some of these progressives lose their general, and I think a little bit of this is overstated in terms of like some of these Bronx and Manhattan wins, where it's like it's a left-wing area anyway. But if a Graham Plattner loses, you know, will the progressive left admit the L, or will they just say the main voters are stupid? You know what I mean? But if a centrist Democrat loses, oh, it's because they're a centrist scumbag.
The Maine voters, kind of. I mean, look at how long Susan Collins has been in there.
No, but I think that's the nature of the state being a sort of 50-50 kind of state. And she's, like her or not, she is obviously more moderate than the MAGA strain right now. And they're comfortable with her. And I think it's I don't know, is it an older state? I don't know the demographics of Maine, but I just think my point being, I already see it with a buddy of mine on social media where he's already kind of downplaying Graham Plattner. Like he literally argued with me months ago about how good Graham Plattner was and how I need to stop like being a corporate Dem shill. But he's already starting to talk about Graham Plattner as like, well, he did it, he did energize people, but I don't think he's the greatest candidate. Like he's already backing away. And I've seen him start to already blame the voters of Maine before the election has even taken place. That's what I'm talking about when I see some of the far left kind of wing of the Democratic Party, where if we lose, the voters are stupid. If the centrist Dem loses, it's because they suck. And there's never hey, maybe we should have gone with the former governor in Maine. Maybe that was the smart move. No, it's always back the most progressive candidate. And if they lose, don't worry. It's because those voters are stupid. That's my only beef is that.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No. I'm going on and on, but I'm just saying that's my only real beef with kind of the far left. It's not that I'm against their candidates. Some of them I am, some of them I'm not. I like Mamdani. Like, do I like every single thing he says? No, but I do think he is a compelling, talented, progressive, meaningful candidate. Like mayor, I should say. But sometimes I see progressive candidates where I'm like, no, like I don't think that person's right for the job, and I don't think they're right for that seat or that state. And I think that might burn Democrats. But I try to sort of be pragmatic. I think I am a progressive. I may not be the most progressive person, but I think I am definitely a progressive person. But numbers are sort of what matters. And if Graham Plattner wins, wonderful. If he loses, it'd be nice if some far left people could admit that they're not always 100% right.
I mean, like, look at all the stuff in the Supreme Court this week.
Wait, I wanted to talk really quick though about the about like candidates. Okay, because Graham Plattner doesn't have totally favorable stuff in his past, and like the woman that I don't want to get her name wrong. How do you say it? That Chauvet.
Oh, Chevalier.
Chevalier. Okay. So the things that have come out about her too, like I'm not trying to make excuses for anyone, but like could she have made some of those posts about I don't agree with her on abolishing prisons and abolishing the police either, but I mean I'm also like, could she have made statements like that because she was angry at the time, like when we all had to watch George Floyd be murdered
Of course.
on camera, and people reacted in a way,
But these are
there
just
were
not to cut
people-
you off, but these are statements that she like stands by today. These are
Okay.
not, she's deleted some things, but she also attended an anti-Israel protest on October 8th, 2023, which is one of those things where you go, and hey, free speech. And if you are that forcefully angry at Israel, that's your right as an American to protest and speak whenever you want to speak. I'm saying though, for a party trying to win over voters, you hand Fox News a gift by Mamdani endorsing her. I think was like a test of his own ego and power. Like how strong are my endorsements? And it was the only time I'll compare those two. It was a little Trumpian, I thought, because it was not so much that it was the smart move, but it was the power move. It was like, I can get in here and get another Democratic Socialist of America elected by the strength of my endorsement. And looking at that race in particular, where you have the leader of the Congressional Hispanic Caucus, somebody with some tenure, somebody who is a progressive, somebody who endorsed you for mayor, by swinging that, is that a smart move or is that just a power move? And I think that's it's one race. It's not the whole thing, but it's, if you thought AOC was like who they were chanting and making a big deal of on Fox before, this woman will be their poster child and it's true. She's like everything they've tried to make the left into.
Yeah.
She's actually that. She actually is that. And if she does well for her constituents, so be it. But that's an example of maybe you don't have to back her, Mamdani, in terms of the smart move. What's good for the party? You don't have to always look at it that way. Obviously, he has a more progressive vision, but that was just one that struck me as very short-sighted. So
I appreciate you saying that though, because like I didn't know that much about her. So yeah, when you explain it like that, yeah, you're exactly right about the that going about it the Trump way. Like I'm gonna like Ken Paxton, Trump endorsing Ken Paxton over John Cornyn. It is
was a
very
stupid move.
reminiscent of that. You were giving them a gift, and then you were giving Fox News a gift to come and attack us. I just didn't know that much about her, so I was trying to give like fairness. Like maybe she said it a long time ago out of anger and they're digging stuff up, but I didn't realize it was so recent. So thank you. Thanks for the notification.
And I know she deleted some old tweets. And I think that was just the way I deleted jokes when I ran for office. It's not that I didn't believe in the jokes. I just knew they were a bad look. So we'll see. It's, I just think, I guess that's my only resentment is that, I tried to get my mom to vote for Mamdani, because I'm a man of my word. When I tell my progressive friends, no, come on, vote for Harris or Biden, even though that's not who you want. I told my mom, I said, how can I tell my friends, hey, vote for the centrist who won if you're going to go vote for Andrew Cuomo just because you're a longtime, Cuomo fan? Yeah.
Did she vote for Cuomo?
She did.
Mom.
No, my mom is exactly Cuomo's demo. The old lifelong Democrat who worships the Kennedys, the Cuomos, and the Clintons. Like my mom is a big fan of all of them. And Mario Cuomo's doing a lot of the work in terms of the Cuomo name as a great governor and orator. But, once you're in with my mom, it's like you're in. Yeah. RFK Jr. is the only Kennedy who doesn't get the Kennedy bump because he's on the wrong side. Like he's chosen evil.
He went and worked for the administration. So she's like, all right, you're out.
You're done. But she and my mom is very old fashioned in terms of it's like I hate she'd own up to this if she were on the show, but she is kind of okay, so some prick at work grabs your ass. Tell him to fuck off. Like, I'm sorry, I know, but I only say that because I know there are a lot of women of a certain generation that kind of have that attitude.
I do.
I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I'm just saying there is, I think to a certain, they had to and it's not right that women have had to put up with tons of shit in the workplace and whatnot. But there is a level of battle weary that's like, I don't want to hear about your unsafe work environment. My boss was a piece of shit in 1960. Your boss said some compliment you thought crossed a line. Fuck off. Like I'm exaggerating, but that's kind of the mindset.
Or, well, sometimes I look at that too. Maybe it's like that's kind of a feminist too, though. A feminist thing to say, though, too, is like you you just tell them off right there, too. Yes, you
Yeah.
could get them in bigger trouble by going the whole legal route, but you could also say shit back to them to embarrass the fuck out of them,
Right.
and that right there is a good way to handle it. Like, if we're supposed to be equal, then like I'll talk shit right back to you. Like
Right.
I'll do that and I'll handle it my way, if you're gonna.
Right. And I don't mean to, I obviously don't mean to demean, or condone like bad workplace behavior, or some of the stuff Cuomo was accused of went beyond just compliments, obviously. So I just want to be
Right.
clear. But I think that's sort of my mom's weary old perspective on that kind of issue.
Yeah, no, I get it though. I get
Which
it
is
fully.
why I feel like that combined with her desire to keep supporting the Cuomo name, makes her more of a, nah, I'm going to vote for him. I said, Ma, he lost. Vote for Mamdani. You're a Democrat. Do the right thing. And then, of course, she didn't. But that's, I can only make the case. I can't make her pull the lever for someone else. But I felt like I had to do that with my mom because I was always telling my progressive friends, like, all right, so you like Bernie? Great. You voted for him in the primary, you didn't get there, vote for Hillary. If I'm saying that to my progressive friends, then I got to say to my centrist relatives, try the progressive guy.
Right. Yeah.
And it seems to be working out for New York City so far.
So far.
Yeah, they seem to like him. I mean,
The Knicks won the championship.
he got the rent control.
Yep.
I mean,
freeze,
yeah,
yep.
the Knicks, great, but come on, like the things he didn't run on the Knicks winning. Okay, he got the rent control, and isn't he also getting the thing on the childcare? Like two of the things that he
Yeah,
I think
really,
I believe so, or he's working
Yeah.
on it with Hochul. And then crime is at like I forget how low, a low for like many, many years in his first 6 months in office. So the idea of like he's going to show up and it's going to be a crime filled, 1990 nightmare again is completely false.
right?
So, and I think what now, much like in Obama, I think Mamdani is a particularly telegenic, charismatic, excellent communicator. Like, I think he has the gifts that make a good politician, but he's also young. And I think that's actually helping. Because given my joke at the beginning of this episode, or maybe it was before we were recording, like when I was in my 20s, I had the energy to do everything every day. And he's, 33 or 34. And I feel like that actually, if you have the capability of the job, being young is a huge asset. It allows him to be more engaged, more communicative, doing more. Joe Biden, as much as I will defend Joe Biden and don't want to trash the man, there's your contrast where somebody was accomplishing good things and did not have the energy or presence to promote or push them, and even when doing good things kind of failed in that regard. Whereas Mamdani, I think if you can find young people capable, that's the key, because with age comes experience and wisdom. But if you can find somebody who's got enough experience and wisdom and is on the younger side, this is kind of an endorsement for, in a social media age, somebody who can be everywhere all at once is an asset.
Yeah. Or you could be like Mitch McConnell, still keep your Senate seat and disappear for a month.
We
Yeah.
just need to have a balance. I mean, I think that the Democrats should focus on that. Maybe keep like a few of the older people for the wisdom part, but
Sure.
they do need to go younger. And the Republicans, they're going to continue with their old white dude, like that's just what they're going to have. So we need to have our younger folks of like all different races and genders and whatnot on our side.
Yeah. And then I just, that's why I kind of like AOC in general. Oh, Cookie's acting up. AOC to me is somebody who came in guns blazing. You know, I'm a left wing firebrand. I'm part of a new wave. I'm, you know, Bernie's like heir apparent. But I think as she has matured into the role of congresswoman, because she's been in office probably like, I don't know, is it like 10 years already? Close. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think she realizes that it's not just about slogans and screaming and making yourself known, but that you've got to work the game a little bit too. And you've got to, and I think that's a good thing, to see somebody who's, you know, clearly progressive, but has matured into more of a, okay, but we've got to pick our spots. We've got to make coalitions. We've, you know, got to build instead of just attack each other. I see her, you know, a little bit more in a mold of somebody who could be a leader, and bring some people together, you know, versus how she was maybe when she first got in, which would have been somebody a little more divisive. That's not to say she's selling out, but I think her skills and her experience, she, you know, it's a good thing. To, you know, getting elected or winning a primary may be all about sort of passion and slogans, but you know, if you really want to get things done, you've got to learn, you know, how to build coalitions.
Mhm. I hope she this is just a wish for me, but I kind of hope she takes over for Chuck Schumer.
That's what I'm hoping too. Some people are talking about her and for like running for president, and I think if she
No,
learned, if she learned from watching Nancy Pelosi,
Mhm.
there's other ways to power besides just running for president. There's other ways to be substantial and significant other than just president. And I think, you know, Chuck Schumer, I know he's the boogeyman for everybody and people are shitting on him like he never did anything good. He's had a very good, meaningful career in public service overall. I'd like him to step down. Um, and you know, show gets, I don't want to say, I don't want to once again draw a contrast to Joe Biden. I don't want this to be like I'm kicking Joe Biden while he's down, but don't do the Joe Biden thing. Like step out,
Mhm.
let her take over, you know, let that be a bridge, and let AOC gracefully take the reins from him, give him his flowers, so to speak, and then, you know, you inject some more youthful progressive energy into the leadership, or you know, so we'll see. I mean, maybe she wouldn't be elected leader of the Senate, to be honest, but by taking over for him,
No.
you know, it
Yeah.
would just be
Yeah.
moving up the chain. Chris
I just
Murphy
like
is
to see
probably
her
going to
as
be,
senator.
yeah. I
From
feel like Chris Murphy, that's my prediction from Connecticut,
Yeah.
would be the next leader.
It's just Chuck Energy doesn't have or Chuck Energy. Chuck Schumer doesn't have like the energy
Yeah.
that AOC has, the good energy, you know, like that, and they need that. I mean, yeah. Chris Murphy would be good though, as
Yeah.
I like him.
You know, we're running short on time here. So, while I got you on, I have to admit, and I hate to say this, that you were right. The bear jumped the shark.
Yeah. I I'm going to tell you right now, because I like you, it doesn't give me pleasure to gloat, so I'm not going to gloat. But for me, The Bear season 2 was where it peaked. And I was never as big a fan of the Seven Fishes episode that everybody was going crazy over. I loved Forks. I thought Forks was the best episode of the show. That was the one where the cousin is learning how to be like a maitre d',
Yeah.
that episode.
Yep, yep.
And then I loved the one with Will Poulter and the pastry chef in season 2 as well, where he sends his pastry chef to Will Poulter to learn how to be like a top tier pastry chef. I love those episodes. I thought season 2, while not perfect, had the high points were extremely high. So I was still into the show. And then the way I describe it is by season 3 and 4, it reminded me of the scene in American Psycho with Christian Bale, where he's having sex but he's flexing, staring at himself in the mirror. I felt like the bear had become deeply in love with itself and very self-aware of like, oh, look how good, look how intense we are. Look how good our show is. Look how awesome we are. And I will not be watching the 5th season. I gave up on it. I don't care how it ends.
You know what? You know what ruined it for me though is the pit is what ruined it for me because you had that intense,
Ah,
stress-filled day, and the new season opens up with that. It's that exact thing. Like this stressful thing happens, but I'm like, you're a restaurant. It's not life or death.
You're
Personally,
either killing or
oh,
saving people.
your wagger order didn't show up. Oh,
Yeah.
well, we're gonna have to make
right,
something else. Like no,
right,
it's not
right,
life or death.
right.
But they tried to make the drama of the first few episodes on that level as the pit. I'm like, no, it's just not working, man.
Right. Yeah, it's I don't want to say I went too hard on the show, but I never fell in love with it the way people did. And then there was the extra element of me just being annoyed at it winning comedy awards. That was just the comedian in me being frustrated.
I did
Uh,
have that because I always like, well, yeah, it's got funny moments, much like the pit also does.
yeah,
But I'm like, this isn't comedy.
no. Um, so
Yeah,
yeah,
I didn't find it funny one bit whenever he yelled at the guy for playing the greatest Bob Seger song of all time, still the same. He got all pissed off at that guy and he's like yelling at him for playing it on the endless repeat. I'm like, fuck you. Fuck you. That is the greatest Bob Seger song.
it is a good one.
All right, I know you don't do your Rain on the Parade anymore, and you used to review comedy specials. Do you have any that you've watched lately
Oh,
that are good?
oh, what did I watch? What did I see? Because I haven't been watching as many. Um,
Don't say
I
Louis C.K. That one sucked.
Oh,
yeah, no, I didn't
he's
watch
only
it.
good at the end. Only good at the dating part. That's it.
13 years ago, I went viral for the first time with my Louis C.K. parody special. Louis C.K. tells the classics. And I've never been a big fan of Louis C.K. And at the time, it made me an outlier in the comedy world. People are like, why are you such a hater? I'm like, if you like him, that's great. I don't get it. I don't get why he's the guy. It wasn't that I don't think he's like has some talent. It was just he was like the guy. He had been anointed like for like a 5 year stretch. Every comedian was like, "Oh, Louis, he's the guy." And I was like, "Why isn't Bill Burr the guy?" I enjoy Bill Burr so much more than Louis C.K. Why do I have to sit here and just kind of cede the throne to Louis C.K. because every comic is on his dick? So I've never just been that big a fan of his. I'm not gonna say he stinks. I just was like he wasn't my guy. I just was like, he's all right, I guess. Um, but I mean, a few months ago, I watched Nikki Glazer's new one on Hulu. Um, oh, I watched Wanda Sykes fairly recently on Netflix, and it was pretty good. She's
Yeah, I like that.
yeah, her special was very solid. I you know I remember many years ago, I wasn't, I just didn't care one way or the other for Wanda Sykes. And somebody had told me like, well, she like is like one of like Chris Rock's insiders. Like she writes with him and like, they're close. And obviously at the time, Chris Rock, he's still my probably all time favorite just on the strength of some of his early specials. So that just made me, whether that's chauvinistic or whatever, I was like, oh, Chris Rock. Where it's like,
Oh,
okay, I'll give her another look. Maybe I'm not watching her enough to appreciate. But she's had a couple specials later in her career that I've really enjoyed, and I thought the newest one that came out, I guess, probably in the spring, maybe, was good. So those are the two. I just haven't made a point recently to like sit down and watch the way I used to kind of watch on a weekly basis. And I want to bring Rain on Your Parade back, but it's like logistically, it was easy when I had my producer, Mike, because I just went to his place, recorded, he handled everything else, and it was easy to get to. And I've been looking into starting the show again, but it's just trying to like lock in that steady time every week. I don't want to try to bring it back if I can't commit to like a regular schedule again. So never say never, but just right now I'm too tired to bring it back.
It's a lot of work. I mean, Snow does much like you. Because if I show up at her place, we record it, then I do all the work after.
Hey, look at
No,
what are you
no.
talking about? I did all this work.
Yes.
I did all this work, no credit.
All right. Shit. We didn't even get to the big story though. Taylor Swift's wedding. Did you go down to Madison
Yeah.
Square Garden yesterday?
I was there. I was invited. It was a wonderful affair.
Oh yeah, you have that no non-disclosure, so you can't talk about it.
Yeah, can't discuss it. But just between us, she asked that all the guests donate to like certain charities in lieu of gifts. I didn't give anything.
All right. Well, it's good to have you on again.
Good to see you guys. I'm sorry I'm so long-winded, but July 4th, it's such an odd July 4th this year. To have that
No.
to have that
5
guy
weeks.
presiding over it is just such an insult to the country.
No.
I have breaking news.
Okay.
Sorry.
Yes, Bridget.
Sorry to interrupt. There's an evacuation on the National Mall in DC due to rain and severe thunderstorms, and the word is the fireworks show may be canceled.
Rain on your parade.
I thought it was going to be something totally different.
I literally thought Mitch McConnell had just died.
Yeah.
That's literally what I thought you were going to say.
Yeah. Well,
That's the best I got. Anyway.
No, that's
good to
great.
See you, JL.
Thank you. Good to see you, Bridget.
hey, the
Great.
4th is not over yet. It could still happen.
For all you radical left atheists who want to tell me God is not real, how do you feel now as he washes away the filth of Trump's 4th of July?
We're not atheists. We're agnostics. Okay?
I'm just speaking. I'm speaking to your broader audience of radical left activists and Kingman and beyond.
Hey, we have Christian audience lefties, so we do. Aside from just yourself.
But you need to keep on, your political career. You need to keep on running for office because look at you. We just mentioned rain on your parade, and look what just happened.
Right? Thank you. A parade got rained on. I'm powerful. I am. People ask me if I'm running for anything else, and I'm just like, well, I'm 0 for 2 so far, so I have to wait till next season to start losing again. So
I don't get it. All right, well, JL, thanks for coming back, and
absolutely,
we'll talk to you again in the near future. But
it was good to see you.
Can you hang on for just 1 minute after we stop this?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.